You're listening to the InFocus Interview Show, brought to you by photofocus.com, an online publication filled with education and inspiration for visual storytellers. This episode is made possible by our partners, Lume Cube, the world's most versatile light, and Drobo, a smart storage solution. Now here's your host, Vanelli.
Hello and welcome. I'm Vanelli. Now, my guest is a co-founder of the popular all-in-one live streaming production platform, Ecamm Live. Please welcome Glen Aspeslagh. Hello, Glen.
Hey, Vanelli. How's it going?
Oh, super good. Now, here's what's kind of funny is thank you so much for appearing on the show in such short notice. I was actually working with Ecamm Live, and I'm making it do things that I'm sure you really didn't think of it to be designed for, going from a Mac to a PC. I literally just pushed this thing past its limit, and the Mac that I'm using is not as powerful. Your tech support is absolutely phenomenal. I shot them a message on a chat, and within like 10 minutes later, they said, just tell me what you want to accomplish. I wrote down, here's the answer. And within, I'd probably say 30 minutes, I had a perfect answer and a solution. And I called my producer to tell him how excited I was
That's awesome.
that we had it down. So anyways, I'm very, very excited. And for those of you that are listening, I'm sure a lot of you have watched our webinars on PhotoFocus and even on Skylum. And we're using Ecamm Live. And a lot of listeners have been asking us, what platform are you using? So who better to answer all of our questions than the co-founder?
Yeah.
Now, Glen, you actually program too, don't you?
Yeah. Ecamm is a small operation, really. My brother and I founded it. My brother Ken and I are just Mac guys since birth and Mac programmers ever since we were, I guess 10 years old.
Wow.
So
Okay.
it's like it's just our thing. We've always done software, and we've been doing Mac software full time for I guess 10 years now. So
Well,
yeah.
I loved your interaction with each other when you launched the new versions, and you guys got together. And you did a little interaction. I could tell you two were brothers.
Oh, that's
Just
awesome. Yeah, we love doing that because we used to do like a live, not live, but like a cable show back when towns had the public access cable studios. So
oh
when
yeah,
we were in high school, we would do a show. So 25 years later, when our marketing team wanted us to go on camera, we were like, hey, this is like old times. We're just
So who's the older brother? Who's the older one? You or him?
Ken is 5 minutes older,
Oh, so you are twins.
but he always will deadpan, no, we're the same age. That's what twins mean. When someone asks.
Well, I'm the youngest of 6 children in a very strong Italian Catholic family. So you could guess all the
Yeah.
pranks and stuff were taken out on me as the youngest child.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we love being on camera together, and we love this the having all these these numbers and having a product that is just sort of centered around social media is just so much fun because it's not just the software and the coding and the technical things. We're just having a lot of fun, building a community and doing videos and making content. There's just the whole thing has just been such a blast.
Well, great. All right, well, let's get into our topics. So our topic is, how to produce your own webinar, or stream live to Facebook and to YouTube and different platforms. So what was the purpose of you designing Ecamm Live?
Well, we were pretty excited about live streaming when Facebook first started to promote their Facebook Live product. We saw this as an opportunity to make a really user-friendly Mac app to do live streaming. And remember, I said Mac app because we don't do Windows apps. We're not doing iPhone and iPad right now. This is only on the Mac. And we thought, we have this background in audio and visual software. We can make this really slick, easy to use app that just works really well and does one thing and does it well. And but that was what we wanted to tackle, was this idea of live streaming.
Great.
So we
So
didn't really
how
know a lot about live streaming going in. We just said,
interesting.
that sounds like a really, really cool thing to do.
Well, you guys definitely nailed it and knocked it out of the ballpark. So what are let's talk about some of the features of Ecamm Live. Now, from my perspective, I can see from the designing phase, it's really simple to use. Um, how did you guys come up with that?
We wanted to do this sort of what you see is what you get interface. You know what I mean? Like when you go into Ecamm Live, you see the main window is just an image of you. It's whatever you see on that main window is exactly what your audience is going to see. So that was the first thing we wanted to approach. We also wanted to have it really tightly integrated with Facebook, and then afterwards we added YouTube. But it was originally thought of as a Facebook product, where with live streaming, I'm sure you're familiar with the concept of a stream key and what a bit rate is and what resolutions and stuff. We wanted to sort of abstract that, really sort of Apple style, you know what I mean? And say, like, we don't want people to need to know what a stream key is or what their bit rate is. We want to ask them questions like that. We just want to have a big blue go live button after you log into Facebook, and you can go live.
Oh, you definitely accomplished it. I came from I'm trying to think of the platform now. It's a free software. I had it on the tip of my tongue and I lost it. But so
Oh, the free
for
one, is it
Windows.
OBS?
OBS, thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
OBS. Yeah, so OBS, it's great, but again, like you just said, you have to know your stream key. You have to know a lot of the stuff behind the scenes, and that's where it just gets a little complicated. And once you get the hang of it, it was fine. But it looked to me like you took an OBS concept and just laid a beautiful interface on top of it and said, you don't need to know any of this other stuff. Click here if you want to go live. Click here if you want to just practice and publish it to yourself. So, there was a lot of neat things I've noticed for ease of use, the way it was designed.
That was a big focus, and then it started out really simple. The core feature is going live to Facebook, rolling pre-recorded videos, adding overlays, and screen sharing. So those were the core features. And then ironically, when we started, building a user base, people were asking for features like crazy, and we just said, let's have some fun. Let's start adding, let's try and keep it really simple. Not make it into this big overwhelming Wirecast or OBS or something like that. Keep the interface really simple, and yet still make it more and more powerful. So now, 3 years later, it is, has grown into this sort of full-featured live streaming studio.
Yeah.
And our hope is that it's still it's still easy to use. That we didn't intimidate anyone.
No, but you have multiple cameras, which I thought was fascinating. I like the idea you could have remote guests via Skype. So, and I know we're using the software where we're using it more like a webinar base, where I'm teaching. And I know you said in the beginning you wanted to use it so people can show demos and show tutorials. I'm finding that I'm able to use it as a production, to where I can have a couple guests with me live from all over the country, and they can share their demos. So I can switch to somebody like an Abba Shapiro and say, okay, Abba, it's your turn. Show us what you would do with this image. And Abba takes over the screen, and now all the viewers are watching his demo. And then control comes back to me, and then I can switch it off to another person. Now, was that stuff that you thought about at the beginning, or it just evolved into it?
That kind of came along, just kind of evolved. The integration with Skype is neat because it's not a hack at all. Skype has this concept of sending out the video sources over an NDI connection, so we can tie into that fairly seamlessly. And like you said, if someone else is remote and they want to share their screen over Skype, that comes into Ecamm Live just like a camera. So you plug a camera in for Ecamm Live, it shows up in the switcher automatically. The same thing happens for a Skype guest or a Skype guests sharing their screen. So while there are kind of a lot of moving parts to the setup of doing a Skype production, once you have it all set up, it's pretty seamless and easy to switch around and do split screens and determine
Exactly.
what you want to be on the screen at any given time.
And I do like what you said, the sharing screens, to where I'm on my host computer and I want to show a demonstration on how I would edit a photo. I push one button and boom, my my Luminar shows up on the screen, and I can start editing, and I can bounce back and forth from So if I'm editing something and I stop for a moment to explain why I'm doing it, I used a little switcher from Elgato, and it
Oh
actually
yeah, yeah.
shows up. Yeah, you can see actually. It reminds me of a very inexpensive TriCaster. The TriCaster units are
Yeah.
like $30,000. This thing's is like 130. Huge difference. But it's neat because I could just push the button and actually I'm looking at the buttons and the image of what is being displayed is on that button, so there's no confusion.
Oh yeah,
And
I love the Stream Deck. It's such a slick device.
now, and what did you work hand in hand with them? How did that come about?
They actually have a really nice plugin architecture. So we could just write a plugin for the Stream Deck and make any key do anything we want. Elgato is a pretty amazing company, I have to say. I mean, I find myself recommending so many Elgato products lately. It's unbelievable. And that they did a really good job with the Stream Deck.
Oh God, yeah, and with what you guys did with it, made it even easier because before you'd have to press controller command 1, command 2, command 3 to go through the different scenes. With the Stream Deck, you just push a button. You look down, and as I'm talking, I don't need to look at my keyboard. I just glance over at the Stream Deck and push the button. Now my screen is being shared, and I could go through a demonstration and push another button, and now I'm back talking live. And one other thing you brought out, which I thought was really cool, is you could play pre-recorded clips. Now that's really cool. What were your thought process behind that?
Well, the most common use for that is really an intro video, I would say. If you can just add a really professional touch to a live stream by creating a pre-recorded intro, or usually having someone who actually knows how to make nice edited
Yep.
videos, throw together like a flashy, action-packed intro with a little music track, or even like a countdown, and that really draws people in. So we just said, if you want to roll an intro video, how about you just drag it right into the app and it starts playing?
Oh,
And
that
that's
was so
really
cool.
how easy it is. And now we have a
Now,
feature where when the video ends, it can actually kick into the next scene. So that'll
exactly.
cut right to the camera, for example, and you can say, "Welcome, thanks for joining us."
Yep, so I use my intros and outros like that. So, and I do like the fact that on the Stream Deck, if I want to end the broadcast, I just click a button and the broadcast is ended. And, I don't have to worry about, fumbling through the controls. So I thought that was really cool. But even still, you have you have 9 scenes people can, so, if you feel comfortable pressing control 1 through 9, then you're fine. Or command. Is it command or control?
I think command and then the number.
Yep, command. As you can tell, I'm a Windows base.
Yeah, yeah.
My whole life. So the pre-clips now, just so you know how I use it, is a lot of times we'll use it to show, let's say, an upcoming webinar, or let's say Abba did. And I'll use Abba again as an example. He did a video, but he couldn't appear live. I can say, hey guys, so Abba couldn't be here today, or Levi Sim couldn't be here today. Here, let's roll his video, and it rolls right into what he did. So I thought that came out really good.
Yeah, and then you can make the core of your live stream pre-recorded and then come back afterwards back to where we're live again, if you have any questions, and then you can sort of have an interactive part afterwards, even though the sort
Exactly.
of the meat of the live stream was just a pre-recorded video.
Now,
And
with that being said, when you stream live to Facebook, you're able to see viewers' comments, correct?
That's right. Yeah, they come right in. We're able to get those from Facebook and display them in our app, which is a really nice feature, because you don't have to have a Facebook browser window open on your Mac. You don't have to have a little iPad on your desk, monitoring the comments. It's all coming right into the Ecamm Live app automatically.
And the neat thing about it is you could drag it onto the main window, and the person's Facebook icon, their icon, what do we call it? Their headshot appears with the question that they ask, and it's so neat.
We call this promoting a comment, basically, to an overlay. So a lot of people would ask us, can I have a stream of comments on my broadcast? And we said, well, do you really want all the comments on your broadcast? How about you pick specific comments and you're promoting those and putting them on the screen for people to see? It's usually, when we're doing a live stream, at least, it's usually a question. And then at the end, maybe when we're doing our outro, we like to put a bunch of people saying, oh, thanks, thank you, really enjoyed it, you guys are great. If people are sort of putting a bunch of comments up on the screen about how much they love the broadcast, you can kind of drag those over one by one and showcase them as your outro music plays or something like that.
Oh, that's neat. I didn't even think of that. Now, and again, so we can go to Facebook and we can go to YouTube Live, or you could just record it, for those people that want to just record it at home, where I'm looking at this as a beautiful, very inexpensive switcher, to where I can switch back from camera to my screen to, like you said, rolling clips. But if you want to, you can go to Facebook and YouTube Live. With YouTube, you're still able to see the comments, correct?
Yeah, the comments work almost identical to the way Facebook does. You can actually even write back in Ecamm Live and send comments in. But the thing I like about YouTube is the quality is just so much better than Facebook. And you can stream up to 4K, and the replay that ends up on YouTube is basically exactly what you sent them. They're not munging it up. So if you stream out in 4K, beautiful, crystal clear broadcast, that becomes your video on YouTube, and it looks just as nice as it did when you were streaming it.
Good. You brought out a good point. Now, you can do this on Facebook without Ecamm. The difference is it's all manual. Whereas I noticed with Ecamm, I can schedule when I want my live stream to appear. And the neat thing about it is it'll actually put the time, the date, it'll put all that information in. Once I hit submit, it puts it onto Facebook, and I can still change it if I want to on Facebook. But the neat thing about it is I don't have to send a reminder. It does it automatically. So if people want to be reminded that it's appearing, they just click on remind me, and now they're added to the guest list.
Oh yeah, the scheduling and promoting the announcement is crucial. We have members that will post an announcement, and then using all their various channels, they will drum up so much excitement for this video, to the point where by the time they go live on Facebook, they already have hundreds of likes, hundreds of comments. People have been commenting all morning in anticipation of the broadcast. So when they finally go live, this huge list of comments pops into the app, and they have a lot of energy going into it. It's really cool.
Yeah, so that was a great feature you added in there. Now, all right, so Glenn, let's talk about how your members are using Livestream in their business, but let's pause for a moment so we can take a quick break and thank our partners.
Lume Cube. Lume Cube is proudly known as the world's most versatile light. It's the smallest, lightest, most compact professional lighting solution on the market. Lume Cube represents the future of LED lighting and is a must-have for anyone looking to create better photos and video. Check out the new Lume Cube strobe, offering anti-collision lighting for drones at lumecube.com. Drobo. Drobo is a smart storage solution that protects photos, videos, and more from hard drive failure, giving peace of mind for the working pro or serious amateur who have a lot of external drives cluttering up their desktop. Save 10% at drobostore.com with the coupon code PHOTOFOCUS.
And we're back with the co-founder of the popular all-in-one live streaming production platform, Ecamm Live. And we're talking about how to produce your own webinar. Now, Glenn, before the break, the question was, how are members using live streaming, in their business?
This is one of my favorite parts about this product is that there are so many uses for this. Going into it, we were a little bit worried, when you create sort of this Swiss Army knife product without any really specific vision of what people are going to be using it for, you wonder, is it too general? Is anyone going to be, needing this if it's not too specialized? What we found was people are using this for so many things. I can just list them off. There's the live shows that people will, do a weekly show. It's almost like a video podcast. They'll use this for creating a sort of a behind the scenes of making a podcast. People are using it for lessons, courses, church broadcasts, demoing software, webinars where people have to actually pay to be in a Facebook group. And in these past couple of weeks, we've been seeing all these other cool uses for the app. People thinking really creatively. Tons and tons of DJs taking their DJ sets on live, people doing music concerts, people doing church services and worship services from their living rooms, and it's just been it's so cool to see how people are using this. I have to say, it's just like every time we see a new use, we're just like, what?
Well, it's funny because one of the reasons why I contacted you was I have 3 of my friends reached out to me because of this whole situation we're dealing with the coronavirus. One of them owns a restaurant, and she is a world-class chef, just absolutely phenomenal. Her name is Tony. She is just absolutely phenomenal. She wants to do a little cooking show. So in between, people can't go out to eat anymore. They can stop by and do where we are in Florida. They still have open to-go orders. But if they stop that, what she wants to do to help the community is give them quick cooking lessons. So people can chime into her Facebook group and learn how to cook with her right there. So she asked me if I could help out, and I thought that was cool. Another good friend of mine mentioned that his church service wants to do Ecamm Live and wants to use it, to promote their church services. And he asked if I could help them. And really, the gear we need for this. So Ecamm Live is, what is it roughly a month? Was it like 15?
Yeah, that's the entry level is the 15 monthly.
And then it goes up from there, right?
Yeah, it doesn't go much up from there. It's $25 a month for a pro plan. And then a lot of our members will go for just paying up front for the year, which saves you 20%.
And I missed the lifetime one when you first started. I missed it by a month, and I couldn't believe we missed out on the lifetime membership. And so let's just say $15 a month, or even $20 a month. Well, then what do they actually need? A good microphone and a good webcam.
First of all, you're gonna need a Mac that was produced probably in the past 8 or 9 years, and then you're pushing it after that. You will want a microphone. Just your typical USB microphone is usually fine, and then some sort of a camera. And one of the cool features of Ecamm that I haven't mentioned yet is we were able to pull off this magical connection with Canon DSLR cameras. I don't know if you've seen this. So Canon DSLRs kind of have this magical connection where you can pull. It's what it is. It's the preview feed over the USB, but Canons have a pretty high quality preview feed, and we can tap into that so that Canon DSLR owners can connect right up over a USB cable, and they're golden. You have this. Suddenly, you can use your DSLR for live streaming.
Wow!
And that's been really popular all along, but now with the coronavirus, what we're seeing is all the HDMI encoders are really all sold out. So we can now find ourselves saying, "Hey, do you have a Canon? You don't need an HDMI encoder. You're not going to get quite the same quality, but it makes an enormous difference over a built-in webcam. That's for sure."
Yep. And the webcam I'm using is Logitech. I think it's like the 920 series. And one other thing I'd recommend strongly is a good set of lights. You want to make sure you're lit well. And that's it.
Yeah.
So you're looking at under probably $250 max. If you want a really good entry level to get into podcast, or not into podcast, but to get into live streaming, you're looking at probably under $250. Would you agree to that, or what are you thinking?
Not counting the Mac.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Well, see, those are things that people already have. So if you already have a computer, that's, and I hate to say that, that's kind of a given. And honestly, I did a lot of live broadcasting for a sports network, and we would have to bring in a production truck. And with the production truck, you'd come in, you have 600 feet of cable that we'd have to, and it was just a royal pain. And so I'm looking at this thinking, wow, I literally could put the cameras, a 3-camera setup, and stream through this production, and not have to worry about the $30,000 TriCaster. So it's kind of neat how I can see high schools using this for productions of their plays, or their concerts. I can see them using them at football games. Imagine, because they're on the same network, so the iPhone, so a student could actually walk in the crowd with an iPhone and do an interview with one of the parents. I mean, there's a lot of uses. There's just a lot of uses I can see with this. In a church group, people are worshiping. I can see a couple people walking around, with a simple iPhone, and just showing, people worshiping as B-roll footage. But you guys definitely did an incredible job on the software, and it's so inexpensive.
Thank you. Yeah, the pricing is something that we're proud of. I mean, we really want to make this accessible to anyone, like you said, wants to get started for live streaming, doesn't necessarily have this big budget. We want them to be able to get started and not have to feel like they're taking this massive leap into some sort of production land. And especially if some people already have a mic, some people already have a DSLR they can use. It's just a matter of maybe picking up an HDMI encoder and making sure the camera has a power source, and they're good to go. Yeah,
so just repurposing the tools you already have, and then just applying it. Well, hey, great. Now, Glen, this was fantastic, and thank you so much for sharing your talents today.
Oh, this was really, really fun. I'm glad you invited me on the show, Vanelli. This was a pleasure.
It sounds great. Well, hey, I'm Vanelli with Photo Focus. Thanks for listening.
You are listening to the InFocus Interview Show. If you like these interviews, be sure to subscribe to our weekly Photo Focus podcast on photofocus.com. Thank you for joining us.